And everything that he set out to do with the World Championship being locked away and making people, have to desire it more, ultimately to try to restore the feeling, it worked. AEW All In 2025 is in the books, and like the kids say, we are so back. AEW is back, firing on all cylinders, and has the feeling been restored? I think so. I think we're back. I really do feel like they have a grasp on the stories, the roster, how we're gonna book these ladies and gentlemen. Like, I really do feel like they are firing on all cylinders, and this show proves it. For me, this show proves that they are still where the best wrestle, where the best pay-per-views happen, where they can take their long-term stories and pay it off in a way that makes a lot of sense, where they can still develop talents, where they can still manage the elder statesmen of this business and, not give them too much in their later years, but still give them enough to do to merit being on TV. I just think they knocked it out the park at All In. Of course, in the main event, we had a classic which was Hangman Adam Page chasing down Jon Moxley for the AEW World title. The AEW World title that has been locked in a briefcase since October, when Hangman Adam Page won this match after, just a word on the match, like absolutely incredible spectacle, violent from the get-go, blood well within like the first 2 minutes, where Hangman was stabbing Jon Moxley in the head with a fork. Like, absolutely crazy. We saw barbed wire spots, we saw table spots, we saw the bed of nails, we saw the glass. It was an absolutely crazy match. And of course, we got the Avengers involved as well. We saw Young Bucks and Swerve, and we saw Will Ospreay, and we saw the Death Riders in totality. Like, all of the things that we thought we would see and get from this match and feel from this match, we felt it. And going back to my original point, when Hangman opened that briefcase, he was in tears, and that nearly broke me. Like, that was the moment where I thought, they've done it again. Like, they've honestly just smashed it. Hangman Adam Page took the AEW World title out of that briefcase, and it still had Bryan Danielson's side plates on it from when Bryan Danielson was champion last year. They truly locked this up and literally threw away the key to some extent. Like, I honestly think Jon Moxley, round of applause. Like, an absolutely fantastic foil, fantastic villain for Hangman Adam Page to chase down, and the rest of the roster that has been chasing him down to conclude this fantastic story at the top of the card. A real world championship and a real world champion. Like, really gave credence and meaning to this world championship, and everything that he set out to do with the world championship being locked away and making people, have to desire it more, ultimately to try to restore the feeling, it worked. It worked, and I said, like, maybe it was about 4 weeks ago now or so, I said this Jon Moxley story is excellent. You lot can't find me nowhere on this internet talking bad of the Death Riders, because don't get me wrong, there was times I was like, I don't know, especially when like Cope was challenging for the world title. I was like, okay, I'm beginning to see what you guys are saying, but I was definitely a give it time merchant, because I could definitely see the good it was doing for the roster. And if you can't see the good it's done for everything now at this point, then we have a problem. Because Jon Moxley, he's lost the title to Hangman Adam Page, but I guess he will still remain a contender in and around the top of the card. Now, as well as Jon Moxley being a contender at the top of the card, we have Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, two men that won their match, meaning that they can still challenge for the AEW World title. So another two great names to add to this main event scene. We had MJF win the Casino Gauntlet match, which basically makes him the number one contender to the AEW World title. I've mentioned Jon Moxley as well. We also have Kenny Omega, who failed to become the AEW Unified Champion, but ultimately he could be used in the main event scene as well. And he was the champion when Hangman won his first world title, so they could just run that back. We have a absolutely stellar AEW world title scene right now. And I just can't wait for Hangman to start kind of going through some of these names and some of the opponents that are going to step forward. It's going to be excellent. Now, as good as all that stuff with the men was, the women absolutely delivered as well. In, this trio of main events that we got, Toni Storm retained the title against Mercedes Moné. And I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. This guy saw it coming because it was on my prediction sheet. But I don't really think a lot of people spoke about this possibility or gave Toni Storm a chance to retain this title against a monster in Mercedes Moné, who's literally eating up titles, everywhere she goes, any promotion. So I get it, but I just had a feeling that, Mercedes will do the right thing. And when I say do the right thing, it's almost like in a week where there's been a lot of talk that she has creative control, that she is Mercedes Hogan. Like, I feel like this was the right thing. She's scalped everybody else. She's beaten everybody else. And she's used that as a means to kind of show, like, I'm going to beat Toni Storm too. But no. Look how Toni Storm overcoming Mercedes Moné now puts Toni Storm on another pedestal. And we know Toni Storm's great already. But she has now beaten Mercedes Moné, the first person in AEW in her singles run to beat Mercedes Moné. Like, it's absolutely fantastic booking. And of course, now many predict that Mercedes is gonna, lose those titles one by one and kind of hit rock bottom, which I feel could be a very interesting story too. Mercedes Moné, I do feel, is known for putting people over on the biggest stage. She doesn't have enough of a track record of even winning on the biggest stage because she's always putting somebody else over. And that is how you help to kind of, revolutionize and evolve a division. She needs her flowers because this woman is fantastic and has always done God's work. To the contrary of people always saying that, she's in it for herself, booking herself, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Mercedes Moné is the truth. She's honestly the truth. And this was another sighting of just some excellent booking, excellently planned and executed match. That Storm Zero off the top rope. Give it a rest. Nah, crazy stuff, man. Why I also say AEW has restored the feeling is that there seems to be a lot more of listening to the fans, what they want, against, maybe just what you want to do and have like tunnel vision on what you want to do. Tony Khan spoke about in the pro-show presser about having to pivot many a time and kind of deliver on what fans wanted. Things like Athena not being announced for a match at All In, where people just know how great Athena is, but Athena won the Casino Gauntlet match, making her the number one contender for the AEW Women's World title effectively. We also saw the likes of the tag division have now kind of, taken shape again. We've got, obviously, the Hurt Syndicate are doing their thing, but, the Patriarchy might kind of form their own tag team now as well. Christian Cage, Cope, they are going to be a tag team, So a lot more use of the tag teams. Young Bucks, their EVP status gone. They will probably return to the tag team division as per normal. So that's looking good. Trios as well. We saw the return of Bullet Club Gold, which is great. And, again, up and down the card, some more kind of people can factor into trio stuff. So it's good that they're listening to fans and, giving people what they wanted. This is what AEW was in 2019, 2020, 2021. So they're returning to, what made them so popular, which is awesome. On the night, it wasn't all great news. Adam Cole came out and relinquished the TNT Championship. It has been said by Fightful he is suffering with like some stuff around concussion issues, and it's just an absolute bummer because Adam Cole's AEW career has just never really got started through injuries and, health concerns. I hope this isn't the end. Adam Cole, captivated the imaginations of us all when he moved to NXT and had a great kind of 5-year run in NXT. Before that, on the indies, in New Japan, in Ring of Honor, he was the man anyway. And you just hope that this isn't the end for someone like him. We had a TNT title match, and I kind of feel like this is a blessing in disguise for Carl Fletcher, who was surely going to beat Adam Cole. Now, on the night, he didn't actually win the TNT title. Dustin Rhodes did, which was a massive surprise. But again, maybe a bit of a way to say thank you to someone that's remained fiercely loyal to AEW and helps behind the scenes in AEW as well. But I think Carl Fletcher Carl Fletcher is above that TNT title. Let's be completely honest at this point. And now you have Okada, who is, I guess, going to find himself more and more inside the Don Callis family, and he is the new AEW Unified Champion, International Champion, Continental Champion, and he's got a Takeshita next to him, which is already kind of showing, descent within those ranks. Carl Fletcher should join them. It should almost be like Okada has these titles and Takeshita and Carl Fletcher want to take his position. And I think this will be a really good dynamic to kind of use over the summer as well with these guys in the Don Callis families. So I'm really interested to see the direction that they go with here. But yeah, like I said, it's unfortunate with the whole Adam Cole situation, but I do think Carl Fletcher is better off not just winning a title, but kind of really being inserted in something that is, going to bear fruit. And I think that this story could be it. But yeah, I think this show, AEW All In, was top to bottom a really solid show. And like I said, I think AEW's back. Like, they have got a core roster which they acknowledge and they are firmly working on and working with and developing. They're no longer in the business of just signing every WWE talent that leaves WWE. They're still signing those people, but they are closely picking who they want and who wants to be there. It's not just a case of coming to AEW and getting another paycheck. It's you have to come here and pay your dues all over again. Yeah, you were this person or that person in WWE, but this is a clean, fresh slate and you've got to prove yourself in these ranks. And yeah, I really just do feel like everything is falling into place once again for AEW. The women's division, listen, I think the top of the card with Mercedes and Tony and stuff is really sorted. I do think we need to kind of make some more top level challenges. Athena coming through as number one contender is one of those names. But like I reeled off earlier in this video, all of those guys that are in and around the men's main event scene, I want to do the same for the women. I want to say, right, these people are next up. So that's the only thing I'd really say that they need to really work on some more. But yeah, I think we are in a place where 2025, they are getting it right. And I hope this just isn't, hasn't just been a good period going into this pay-per-view. I hope it really continues on. And we've got Forbidden Door, which is going to be a massive show for them in London later on in the summer. So I hope the good times continue rolling. But yeah, let me know down below what you think of AEW All In. But for me, AEW have restored the feeling.